Well, it has been a long time since I've released a video. Sorry about that, but I have been watching a lot of Reddit videos recently. So I figured, why not do one? And I saw an interesting question on Ask Reddit today, so here we go. Also, I can't find my camera, which is why I'm filming with my phone. What is the biggest I'm dead thing you've done at work, but nobody ever found out? When I was 18, I worked for Menards, like Home Depot. It was a small store with an outside yard that you couldn't drive into, so we would pick what you wanted with a forklift and load the customers out in the parking lot. So this lady came in to pick up a bunch of special older bricks. I loaded 2 pallets of bricks into the back of her very nice new truck. She signed the paperwork and the transaction was done, until I sat in the forklift filling out my part of the paperwork, and she backed into the forklift tine and punched it all the way through her tailgate. I was 100% in the wrong, as anyone who has ever driven a forklift knows that unless you are actively using the lift, you keep the tines on the ground if you're parked, and a couple inches above while driving. I had seen a guy get fired once for driving over a piece of cardboard instead of stopping to pick it up, so I was beyond screwed. But she just put it in drive and took off. She didn't even look back at me. I expected that she was going to pull up to the front of the store to report it, but she just left. As far as I know, she never reported it, and no one ever knew it happened. That was 21 years ago, and I think about that incident pretty often. Accidentally spent $11,000 on Facebook ads when I was supposed to only spend $1,000 that week. Just sent out the billing invoice like normal at the end of the month. Never heard anything about it. When I was a brand new airline pilot, we landed at an airport that required a long taxi back to the terminal. During the taxi, the captain made a wrong turn onto a narrow taxiway that led to a small private hangar. As soon as he made the turn, we knew it was the wrong taxiway, but it was very narrow with trees on both sides, so there was no way to turn around. I had no idea how we were going to deal with this. He thought for a minute, then said, "McGonagall, can you see the tower from here?" I looked. Nope. Good. Then they can't see us. With that, he reversed both engines and slowly backed onto the main taxiway. I guess the passengers thought it was normal because no one asked any questions and we never heard anything about it. I was supposed to meet a client outside of work to discuss a business opportunity. Got permission to leave work early to go to an arranged meeting with the customer. I went on autopilot as soon as I started driving from work. Forgot about the meeting. Picked up a pizza, went home, ate pizza, couple hours go by. I didn't have a phone number for the customer, so I never called or anything. Just no call, no showed on the customer. Customer never said anything. Manager never asked about it. One day, everybody was working from home except me, so I just left and went to Six Flags with my friend, praying there wouldn't be any spur-of-the-moment video calls. First day as an electrical engineer intern. I blew up a power amplifier by hooking up a power supply incorrectly. I was pulling a lot of current, 2A for smaller power amplifier, and sparks and smoke were everywhere. I went to tell the engineer I was working for, fully expecting to be reprimanded or fired, but he didn't seem to care too much, which surprised me. It was university. They had this really expensive piece of equipment, and I can't remember exactly what it measured or how it worked. What I remember is this. You completed a circuit to power the thing, meaning you plugged a wire into 5 volts or whatever came out of the wall, and another wire into the ground, and plugged both of them into the device. Alligator clips, baby. What you got out of the wall was way too much current, so you had to put a resistor between the wire from the wall and the device. The thing cost something ridiculous, like $25K at the time. It was made out of diamonds or gold or something else up. Anyways, I got really at my lab partner. Just took over the experiment and plugged the thing directly into the wall without a resistor. I basically fried the thing in a second. I smelled burning and could see smoke come out of it immediately and knew exactly what I'd done. As I literally thought, oh, I'm dead, and started realizing the gravity of my actions, this dude in a huge trench coat thing walks by my lab table, gets his coat caught in it, and pulls the thing off the table. It lands on the ground and smashes into a million pieces. Dude was walking with the guy who ran the labs, and that dude loses it on him. I just sat in silence. I felt guilty, but like I dodged the biggest bullet of my life. I didn't know definitively that I'd broke it, but I knew definitively that that dude had. And I was too much of a coward to say anything. Trenchcoat Man was 100% you from the future, here to your life. Spilled soda in our lab near a test system I was working on. They were very expensive. Some soda got to the unit before I was able to stop it. I dried everything thoroughly, but was very scared because I had only been there a year or so, and these things were very expensive to produce. But when I left that company 8 years later, the system was still fully functional and in use. I did start listening to the lab rules about no open containers after that, though. Had a lorry turn up 15 minutes before the end of the day, and in my rush, pure anger to get him unloaded ASAP so I could go home, I drove through the roller shutter doors as they were still opening and caught them with the top of the mast. I got the guy unloaded and on his way and tried to lock up, hoping to explain it all away the following day. The door was that bent, it wouldn't lock. As it wouldn't lock, I couldn't set the alarms. I was essentially trapped at work and now an hour late from leaving. In a moment of pure desperation, I lifted the doors again and drove into them from the other side, bending them enough to lock them up, set the alarms, and get home. I'd hit them a little too hard, so they were now bent inwards, and the bosses assumed someone had reversed into them during the night. The estate we were on was a notorious cruising spot for the local boy racers, and there was always tire marks or bits of cars scattered around the place, so they got the blame. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you'd be interested in me doing Reddit videos again. I probably will either way, but let me know regardless. And everything is linked in the description below, so if you want to go check it out or look at some other responses to the question, just go down there. And while you're down there, you might as well like and subscribe.
Everything you do, it sends me higher than the moon. With every twinkle in your eye, you strike a match that lights my heart on fire. When you're near, I hide my blushing face.